and today I bring you the I Hate Uni book haul. I know that in my last book haul I said that you probably weren't going to see one for a really long time, but that was before I figured out that I have to read like 13 novels for university this year plus a textbook. Let's just not even go into that because that's a lot of novels to read in a very short amount of time. But that's fine, everything's fine, it's all good. So I've actually accumulated 21 books since I last did a book haul, and that was only like a month ago. So it's been a month and I've picked out 21 books. It's not good. It's not good. That's not good. You should definitely not be buying 21 books a month. But again, uni, it just happened. So again, I'm gonna do the same sort of order. I'm gonna go with YA Circle books, the books I've received from publishers, uni books, and then books that I have just bought for myself because I can. And once again, some of these books you have probably already seen in a wrap up or a TBR video. I am sorry about that, but you know, everything's fine. It's all fine. Maybe. Not really sure how this is gonna go. Again, because there are just so many books, I'm not gonna talk much about what each book is about, especially because with most of the uni ones I have no idea. So let's just get started. So the first book I want to talk about is the YA Circle July book of the month, and that is Ballad for a Mad Girl by Vicky Wakefield. This book is kind of a contemporary with paranormal elements, and it follows a girl named Grace Foley who used to be a really funny girl, but now weird, strange things are happening to her and she's kind of losing her sense of self, and she's kind of like, what's the word, when like crawl back inside yourself, that sort of thing. So that's kind of happening to her. It's a really good read. I highly recommend it. I really enjoyed it. And yeah, that's Ballad for a Mad Girl. Next up is the August book of the month for the YA Circle, and I'm so sad that I don't get to go to this meeting, but that is Song of the Current by Sarah Tolkser. This book follows Caro Orestia, I cannot really say her last name, and she is the latest in a long line of people who have been blessed by the river god, but she has not yet been blessed by the river god, and she's really upset about it. So after her father is arrested, she decides to undergo the mission that he was supposed to undergo anyway, and she ends up with this really dangerous cargo, going through dangerous waters, being hunted. There's a lot of pirates in this book. I'm approximately 180 pages through it already and loving it. So if you like pirate adventures, this one is definitely for you. But I do have to say, I have found so far that it's kind of cliched in places. I've been able to guess certain things that are going to happen just because of the cliche, but it's still fun. It's still a fun read. Because it's only been like a month or two, those are the only two YA Circle books I have to talk to you about. So we're going to move up next to the book that I got sent from a publisher. It's only the one book, which is a little bit sad, but I didn't know I was getting it, and that was the most exciting thing. I didn't even know I was on this publisher's blogging list, but apparently I am. I received Telephy by Wanda Wiltshire from Pantera Press, so thank you very much, Pantera Press, for sending this one to me. I don't know a lot about this book because it is the fourth book in the Betrothed series, and I have not yet read the first 3 books in the Betrothed series, so I'm not going to go too much into what this one is about, obviously, because massive spoilers, but I know that it's a fairy novel, and I am kind of excited to read it, so I'm planning on picking up the Betrothed series at some point and reading them so that I can get on board with this series before the release of the 4th and 5th. No wait, this is the 4th book, so the release of the 5th and 6th book. I don't know if I said this is the 4th book, I think I said 3rd, but it's definitely the 4th book in the series. That's it from publishers, so next we move on to the uni books, and there are 10 novels here. 10 books. Plus I have to read another 2 that I already owned, plus I have to read another one that I'm not even bothering to buy. I'm just getting it from the university library, so so many books. First up, I will show you my 21st century lit books. So first up we have An Introduction to Literature, Criticism and Theory by Andrew Bennett and Nicholas Royal. This is my textbook for 21st century lit. Apparently we're not reading all of it, which kind of sucks and it's so long. But I'm really looking forward to this subject. I think that it's going to be a lot of fun, so I am actually kind of glad that I did pick this one up. The only other book for 21st century literature that I actually had to buy was The Arrival by Sean Tan. This one is kind of different because it's a graphic novel, but it's a wordless graphic novel, so it's literally just told through pictures. I didn't know this until I picked it up, but I'm really looking forward to it. I've had a friend who has read it in the past and she said that it's really good, so I'm really looking forward to reading this one and discussing it in class. I know nothing about it though, obviously, because how do you describe a book that is just pictures and no words? Oh wait, sorry, no, I was wrong. I do have one more 21st century literature book. It's hiding in my creative writing books, and that is An Island Home by Tim Winton. This is a landscape memoir about Tim Winton's time or life in Australia, and I'm kind of excited to read it. It's really short, which is great. I'm really into short novels for university. I don't know much about it. I've never read a memoir before, so I'm curious to see how this one kind of stands up and holds up to the other books that I'm reading in this class. Okay, so now moving on to the creative writing books that I have to read. The first one is one that I'm currently reading, and that is Clan of the Cave Bear by Jean M. Ale. This book is set in prehistoric times, so it has a historical fiction setting because that is the genre that we're working with this semester. And this book follows a young girl named Ayla who has been found by a Neanderthal clan and is sort of taken in, but obviously she doesn't know the ways of the clan, so she sort of challenges them with her own humanistic ideals, and it's really good so far. I am enjoying it. It's just very, very dense. It's very thick, so it's kind of really difficult to get through, but I'm enjoying it and I cannot wait to see where it goes next. Next up for creative writing, I picked up Dead Man's Walk by Larry McMurtry. This book is again a historical fiction novel and is set in the American West. I don't know what period it's set in, but it's set around the time of Texas Rangers and Indians when they are kind of, you know, really fighting each other. So I'm really curious to read this one because I do like Westerns. I don't know if I'm gonna like a novel Western, especially because I keep buying the mass market paperbacks because they're really cheap, but it means they come like really tiny and with writing like that, which makes them kind of dense to read. But also I'm not gonna spend a lot of money on all these books because why would I? And then the last book that I picked up for creative writing was The Secret River by Kate Grenville. This book is about a convict from London who was sent to Australia as a convict and is kind of about his life here. And I believe it's about the brutality towards the Indigenous Australians that were living here when the convicts first arrived. So I'm kind of excited to sort of see where this one goes. I don't know a lot about that period of history, so I am excited to see sort of how Kate Grenville puts her own spin on it. 4 more uni books to go. Okay, we can do this. Alright, so next up are my crime fiction and film novels. I'm really excited about these because I've never really read crime novels, and also, excitingly, they're all super short. That's probably the most exciting thing about this. So the first one I'm going to show you is The Talented Mr. Ripley by Patricia Highsmith. I know absolutely nothing about this book, but look how short it is. I'm really excited. It's obviously a crime novel, and that's pretty much all that I know. I'm assuming if this has a outline of a body, I'm assuming someone dies in the novel, which I'm really looking forward to because death and destruction. Ha ha ha. Next up we have Paul Auster's The New York Trilogy, which I, again, know absolutely nothing about, but apparently it's like, but it's 3 stories in one, which when I first found out we were reading a trilogy, I like freaked out, and then I found out, I was like, oh, it's actually like 3 books in one. So that's not too bad. It means that it's basically 3 short stories that you're reading, so yeah, and it's little and they're little and I like little things. I couldn't tell you what it's about, except it's about crime. Next up we have my very first Agatha Christie novel, and that is The Murder of Roger Ackroyd. I know nothing about this book except I found out it is one of the Poirot mystery novels, which is a little depressing because why can't we be reading Murder on the Orient Express? It's literally the only Agatha Christie novel I've ever heard of and ever had any inclination of wanting to read. But it's fine, everything's fine. I will read this one, it's all good. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm assuming that it involves some sort of murder and then Poirot having to figure out, you know, who done it and with what and where, like Cluedo. At least that's what I'm hoping happens anyway, because I'm gonna be really disappointed if that's not how an Agatha Christie novel plays out. And the last uni book that I have to show you is The Big Sleep by Raymond Chandler. I found out this book was written in like 1939, which is a million years ago. So I don't know anything about it. All I know is that I think it's one of the, I don't want to say one of the first crime fiction novels because let's be real here, people like Sherlock Holmes have been around for much longer than that. But I do think that it was one of the first Penguin crime fiction novels, I think. So keen for that. I am keen to see sort of how this is the one that we're starting off the semester with, apart from we're reading a Sherlock Holmes story and a Edgar Allan Poe short story first, but apart from those, this is kind of what we're starting with, so I'm keen to see what happens. And I thought my phone was going off, but it wasn't, it was my chair. And now we get to move on to the fun books that I bought for absolutely no reason. So you guys know, as you probably do if you watched my last book haul, that I'm trying to participate in Project 5, and I was doing so well, and then these first 4 books came out and I just had to have them, and then the next 3 books, 2 of them I bought for the biannual bibliothon, which I never ended up participating in, so you know, my bad. And the last one I bought, like, well, another one I bought because I found it in the same size as the first book in the series, and I haven't found that before, so I was like, yeah, it's $10, why not? And then the last book is one that's not out yet in Australia, but I was too impatient to wait to get it, so I just ordered it from America, so yay! So the first 4 books that I bought are technically the same book. So obviously, very recently, it was Harry Potter 20. Harry Potter is celebrating his 20th birthday this year, which is really exciting. So Bloomsbury decided to be really nice to us and also kind of mean to us at the same time and release the 20th anniversary edition of the Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and I couldn't decide which one I wanted, so I bought all 4! I literally couldn't decide. inside, okay? They were all too beautiful. Like, look at this. This is Hufflepuff, which is my house, and it is gorgeous, and I love it. And then there's Ravenclaw, which again is really, really pretty, and I love it. Slytherin, which is definitely not my house, but again, really pretty, and I love it. And also Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone in the Gryffindor edition, which is beautiful, and I love it. I'm not going to show you the inside of all of them because that's just way too difficult, but basically the spine is just like that for it. And I didn't know until I got the books here, but each of the books actually has something specific apart from just the cover and the spines. Oh, they're not the spines, the pages, you know what I mean. They all kind of have like this individual writing in it relating to the house that you are in. So each of these books has a little something that's written about, yeah, so it has a little bit of an introduction to the house, a little bit of the house founder, house relic, house library, house ghost, and a map of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. And then at the very end it has the sorting, Hogwarts quiz, house common room, memorable student, head of the house, famous alumni, house cup, and J.K. Rowling writes a little thing about the 20 years of magic. So I couldn't decide which one I wanted, so I bought all 4. Although, if any of you know me at all, you will know that's no surprise because Harry Potter, how can you decide between these 4 books? Next up is a book that I bought for the biannual bibliothon for the challenge of read an LGBTQ book, but I never ended up doing that because I didn't participate in the biannual bibliothon. But that book is Will Grayson, Will Grayson by John Smith and David Levithan. At least I'm pretty sure it's an LGBTQ plus novel. I don't really know what it's about, like, at all, and there's really not a blurb. It's just a little thing that's like, one night in Chicago, 2 guys, both named Will Graysons, cross paths, what follows is, and then all these quotes. How am I supposed to know I'm gonna like this book if there's no blurb for it? I mean, what? So yeah, I'm sure I'll read this at some point, but like, who knows? Meant to participate in the biannual bibliothon, didn't do that. So this next book is one that I again bought for the biannual bibliothon, but I didn't read it. But this is one that someone is going to be very, very happy about, and I bought it just because he needs to read Akane, and he said he would read Akane if I read this book. So I bought Yellow by Megan Jacobson. So I now have this book in my possession. I'm planning on reading it very soon. So Sam, you need to read Akane like the second that I read this. The second. I know nothing about what it's about though. What is it even about? About Kira, midlife crisis, a ghost. Oh my god. She makes friends with a ghost? Dude! Hey look, there's a bookmark in this because I said I would start reading it. Lol. Oh my god, that's so funny. If I knew there were ghosts in this, I would have read this months ago. Oh! Next up, we have a book that I bought because it is finally the same size as the first one in the series, and also the sequel movie came out this month. And that is Return to the Isle of the Lost, the sequel to The Isle of the Lost, which is a Descendants novel. This is by Melissa Dela Cruz, and it is part of the Disney's Descendants franchise, which is a Disney Channel original movie franchise on the Disney Channel. I love that series so much, so I thought, why not? I'll buy the book. But my friend and I have been trying to figure out where this book fits into the timeline of the series, and we can't figure it out. Like, I'm pretty sure this book is an AU because it doesn't fit with the timeline of events that have happened in the movies and other books and TV show. It just doesn't fit. So, I mean, I haven't read it. My friend's read it and she says it doesn't fit. So I'm gonna read it and I'm gonna decide, but I'm pretty sure she's right. Like, I'm almost positive that she's right, that it's just not gonna count. Anyway, we now have 1 book left, which is awesome. I've gotten through these 21 books in record timing. Go me. That is because though I haven't really been telling you anything about the books, and I feel like I'm talking kind of fast, but that's fine. You guys are used to that by now. So the last book I have to show you is Because You Love to Hate Me, edited by Amory and contributed by 13 lovely authors and 13 lovely booktubers. I have read this book and oh my god, it's so good. Seriously, anyone who says that it's going to be a bad book just because booktubers are in it is wrong. The booktubers, in my opinion, a lot of those pieces really added to the anthology and really sort of gave us something else to think about, and I loved it, and I was way too impatient to wait for it to be officially released in Australia, and especially because the paperback version, I'm sorry, but it looks terrible. Like, the paperback version does not look good at all, so I really wanted the hardcover, which I have, and I will do the obligatory cover thingamabob that I always forget about, and it's nothing exciting, it's just that, and really it made me feel really cool reading it though, and it made like a really cool sound. If you're unaware, this book is an anthology series, as I said before, but basically it follows villains and kind of a twist on them, and I absolutely love it. So what happened was 13 booktubers paired up with 13 authors, and they gave the author a prompt. The author then went away and read a story, and then the booktuber kind of wrote a little companion piece to it, and it was so good. I loved it so much. I wish I could read it for the first time again, but I have way too many other books to read, namely these 13 or 14 or however many uni books I have to read this semester that I am so not looking forward to. There you have it. Those are the 21 books that I have purchased very very, very recently, as in the last 1 or 2 months, which is crazy and is not something that I expected to happen, but this is what happens when your university degree, you major in creative writing and you take all your electives in English. It's just what happens. You can't get away from it. You literally cannot get away from it. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment section below if you have read any of these books and what you thought. I would love to know. If you like this video, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. Stay random. Bye.